Hey everyone, it's Precious Joy here, the founder of Purity is Precious, and I am here right now sitting alongside with my mom, Miss Doris. We're going to be talking today about mother-daughter relationships, and one of the things that I've seen and discovered over time is that mother and daughter relationships are extremely hard. I can't tell you how many friends I have and how many constituents and people that I associate myself with that have struggled severely with their mother-daughter relationships well into their adult years. And I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had with them where I'm steady trying to get them to see things from a completely different perspective and trying to help them mend relationships with their mom. One of the things that I've heard a lot of my friends and constituents and associates say to me whenever they're around me and my mother and they see our interactions, they always are like, I just love y'all's relationship. And I'm like, to me, I tell them all the time, this did not happen overnight. This was something that took time. This was something that took a lot of work and a lot of effort and progress. However, it's something that we worked at, and it's something that we still continue to work at even today. And so because this has been something that has been on the surface, and one of the things that I've always ran into with relationships with my friends, and I always hear that this is one of the top things that they struggle with, I decided that since I'm in the business of working with young adults and youth and young girls ages 11 to 17, that it would be wise to try to start to help mend mother-daughter relationships when they're younger. I personally believe that the reason why they're having the hard time and struggles well into their adult years is simply because they probably never resurfaced or mended some things from the high school years, from the grammar school years or whatnot. And Lord knows, those are some of the most hardest times. Those are some of the most hardest relationships. And mothers and daughters always seem to knock heads so hard during that time frame in their lives. And it's just that it's mostly like a communication breach, a communication barrier. And so that's what we're here for. We want to talk about that. I've given this woman right here sitting next to me many gray hairs way before they was even due, way before her time. As you can see, the color she changed her hair to, mainly because she had to, because this one right here, this girl sitting right here, has definitely caused her a lot of tears, a lot of frustrations, a lot of, probably even more, a deeper and stronger relationship with God. And I believe that I can contribute to a whole bunch of that. So as we're going to be discussing today, I'm creating an experience. I'm not going to say that this is a movement. I'm creating an experience that's going to branch out from Purity is Precious, and it's going to be called Mothers and Daughters. And so mothers and daughters, what's the purpose of that? The purpose of it is to enhance mother-daughter relationships through sorting through the hardships, growing pains, and even the disappointments so that we can actually bring them to a place of joy, the love, and even just being able to be in each other's presence, and just so that they can learn how to accept and grow with each other throughout the process. And I think that that's where we miss it at a lot of times. We do not know how to grow with each other through the process. Many times, many mothers and many daughters may seem to run ahead of each other or may seem like they've been left behind. And so that's one of the things that we want to combat with this whole experience. That's one of the things that we want to bring awareness and attention to. And that's what we want to be able to come to the forefront, because we need each other. Mothers and daughters need each other. Mothers and daughters need each other to have successful friendships. Mothers and daughters need each other to have successful relationships. Mothers and daughters need each other simply because we were created from each other to be able to bring forth a new generation, a new perspective, and a new way of life and a new way of living. So how did we decide to pursue establishing mothers and daughters? I already kind of touched on that a little bit. I discussed how in the very beginning, I've had many friends who have called me and said, I'm done. I'm done with my mother. I'm done with her. We can't communicate. We can't talk. She won't hear me. And we believe that that's mainly simply because somewhere along the lines, they've shut off their heart. They put up a protective guard and a protective barrier so that the daughter can't hurt the mother anymore, and the mother can't hurt the daughter anymore. And I think that that's one of the things that we've all come to, where we put up these protective barriers around our heart, around our mind, and around our emotions, and we close each other out, and that brings us to a standstill in our relationships. And so why did we decide to pursue doing this, creating this experience? Is because I've had too many friends, and even with my program, Purity is Precious today, I've experienced where I've had many mothers being extremely frustrated about what's going on with their daughter in school, what their daughter is doing. And I've literally sat down and had these conversations with my mom, like, what do I say about this? This may be a little bit bigger than me. Where do we go with this, and how do we handle this or whatnot? And she's been one of my voice of reasoning. I know that this woman has an extreme amount of wisdom. And so I know that if I bounce anything off of her, she's definitely going to give me the truth of whatnot as in regards to how to proceed and how to move forward with it. And even like how to even discuss talk to even the mothers or whatnot. And so one of the things that I've done, even with Purity is Precious, is that there have been times where I would bring my mom in to talk to the parent or to talk to, the mother that's struggling with her daughter, simply because I'm like, the woman that you all see today with me is nowhere near, nowhere near who I was 3 years ago. I've definitely changed tremendously. But the woman that you all see today is not who I was in grammar school, not who I was in high school, not who I was in college or whatnot. And so I want you all to know that, yes, we have a successful relationship right now. Yes, we are healthy. The relationship is healthy, and we still argue and bigger from time to time. However, we know how to accept each other for who each other is, and we move forward from there. And so we just want to share our experiences. We will be going live every Wednesday. The time frames will definitely will vary from time to time because we both have two different busy lives. But I think Wednesday is the day that we both have agreed to go live on. And just to share our story, I don't want us to talk longer than 20 minutes, mainly because I don't want these videos to be so long and drawn out. And child, my life and the things that I've put her through and the things that she's put me through can actually go longer than 20 minutes, but we just want to give you all some basics and some principles of whatnot, and give you all some Q&As, some polls eventually to try to bring more understanding as to what it is that you may need help from in regards to your mother and daughter relationships. But this is where we are today, and this is what we want to do. So just to give you all even a backdrop of Purity is Precious, I probably should have discussed this in the very beginning. But Purity is Precious is a program that's been created that I teach young girls ages 11 to 17 how to be pure emotionally, mentally, and physically. Now, a lot of people always think that Purity is Precious is just a brand that's targeted around sexual purity, and that's part of it. However, that is not the whole gist of the brand Purity is Precious. We are actually bringing up the etiquette of a woman, how to carry yourself as a woman, things that should be done as you grow through life as a woman, how you get from stage to stage to stage, the transitional phases, but also just making sure that you're in the right mind, you have the right perspective. You're definitely making sure that you are dealing with things that arise as they come and not suppressing, because I was once a suppressor, and that thing does not work for anyone. And so that's what Purity is Precious is about. It's about establishing a woman mentally, physically, and emotionally. And so, yes, we want our young girls to abstain from experiencing things that they're not necessarily ready for in that context and in that frame too soon. However, we just want to make sure that they are ready in the right context, that they know what they're getting themselves into. As we all know that we can't necessarily stop it as a whole, but we definitely want to give them more awareness into where it is that they're walking into and what's to come, should they choose to go down this road, down this path. So Purity is Precious is a brand that's been created for young girls ages 11 to 17. We typically meet from time to time. I usually meet with them once a month. However, they are on spring break as of this moment. And so we're going to be doing these Facebook Live videos on mother and daughter relationships so that we can bring some awareness to a different area that I personally experienced within the brand myself. And so what would you like to tell them today about the relationship that with me and you, and where we are, and just in general, like with what it was that you desired in a daughter?
I want to start from the beginning. I'm a mother of 3 sons. My first 3 kids were boys. and I enjoyed them so much. They were all three rambunctious and active and playful and everything you could want in a boy. They were that. And I called them my three sons. And we went places, we did a lot of things. But there was an emptiness in my heart that I knew only a girl can feel. And when my son started saying to me, Ma, you need a girl, Ma, you need a girl, I was in agreement. My husband wasn't so agreed. He thought we had enough children, but he was happy. He had three sons. I didn't have a representative of me. And so it turned out that I won that battle. So
Thank God.
I had my daughter. And I was so tickled. I was so tickled through the whole pregnancy. I knew it was a girl. I knew she was a girl. I kept talking to her and telling her how much I love her. And I can't wait to see her. And I'm just grinning from ear to ear. And I had Precious. And I couldn't name her nothing but Precious Joy. So she became Precious Joy Frazier. And I'm just tickled. I dressed her every day. She was she was pink, purple, yellow, all these cute little outfits. As soon as, because I didn't get to wear those, my sons didn't wear those colors. I was able to dress a girl, and I was tickled from the time I had her. I just been tickled. Well,
So,
anyway,
my name has always been a conversation piece, as you can see. And I always get that question, how did you get the name Precious? How did you get the name Precious Joy? And so she just gave you the backdrop on it. I'm the only girl, the baby out of three boys. And so to her, that was only befitting name. I would have preferred to have had a normal name. Trust me, I would have been cool with with Taisha. I would have been cool with, I don't know, give me something normal, child. I don't know, but I used to be like, I don't know what my mom was thinking. I hate my name. I used to say that all the time when I was younger. And people would be like, I think it's so cute. I like it. And I'll be like, look now, you see this conversation me and you having? We wouldn't be having this conversation if I had a normal name. And so, but yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. So go ahead, Ma.
so I used to take Precious everywhere with me because I was showing her off. My little girl, I'm excited. And I would dress her really cute, especially if we were going to church. So she wore the lace barrettes, the lace dresses, the lace panties, the lace socks, the cute little shoes. I was just a happy person with my cute little daughter. Precious would be with me in my arms, and people would come up to her and say, "Oh, she's so cute. Oh, she's so wonderful." And Precious would look at them like they was the biggest fool she ever saw in her life. I couldn't believe this girl. She did that Sunday after Sunday. It didn't matter how nice they was to her. It didn't matter how good they smelled or anything. Precious didn't like you coming, picking her up and touching her and taking her away from her mama. And even if I held Precious, she was still looking at them like, okay, so what this fool finna do? I was embarrassed. I was thinking, oh my God, this girl is not acting like I want her to act.
And this was a baby.
This was a baby. This was like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I could not believe the daughter that I wanted to have wasn't bubbly. I mean, she had a pleasant disposition. I mean, just to look at her, she was pleasant. She was a nice looking baby. But for you to pick her up and hold her, she did not like it. She expressed it in her looks.
And I still have some of them faces till today. I
could not believe it. So that started my talks with God. Precious started my personal talks with God. I was like, God, this baby don't act like she like people. I didn't think my daughter would not like people. So from that point on, I knew I was in trouble.
And that is a true statement because, baby, I went through some changes, some dispositions, the whole nine. And I think it's funny that she talked about my facial expressions because now I've become more self-conscious of them. I'm always trying to make sure that I am pleasant, that I am showing myself as joyful and as happy on the outside. And I'm also be making sure that I work on that externally as well. But that was something that I struggled with so badly over the last, I would say like the last 4 or 5 years of my life. In the past, I always showed my disapproval on my face, on if I liked something, if I thought someone was an idiot, if I thought something was crazy, if I didn't approve anything, it would come on my face. And so now, because I'm more self-conscious of making sure that I'm not looking a certain way and that I make sure that I am more pleasant to, be around and even to walk up on to start a conversation, I make sure that I keep my facial expressions intact at all times to the best of my ability now.
So my conversations with God started. As a matter of fact, I would talk to the Lord about how Precious was behaving, but I was also talking to Precious. I was saying, Precious, you need to be nicer to people. People like you. They're not doing anything wrong to you or hurting you. They're just being courteous, Precious. Can you just please smile? So I had to talk every week to her about smiling and being nice and kind to the people at church and the people that was coming up to her and just saying things. Well, it didn't work. It didn't work. And I was working in the children's church because I was one of the leaders in there. And my group was 3 to 5. I would have to take Precious out of the nursery and bring her in there with me because she was just not cooperating with none of the teachers, with nobody in there. And I could hear her screaming in my class. I couldn't teach because she over there screaming and acting a nut. And so I had to go get her, bring her in there with me and keep her with me. And she would act like nothing was wrong. Problems.
Problems in the very beginning, huh?
In the very beginning. I knew I was in trouble.
Wow. And so because from the very beginning, I think that she actually got what she prayed for, if you ask me. I mean, you asked for a daughter. Now, we come with baggage. We come with issues. We come with problems. Now, boys, you can just kind of like just raise them up and let them just run around and they grow into themselves. But girls, you really do have to take more time with nurturing.
Yeah, but I thought that my daughter would have my personality, that would be like me, that would be fun-loving, friendly, and just joyful, not Precious.
I picked up my daddy side. My daddy side is more so strict, no nonsense. He's more of he's kind of like, he's very meek, but he has another side to him that if the right button is pushed on the wrong day, you're going to get got. And that's how I can be at times or whatnot. And so as I was growing up or whatever, I ended up going into school. And when I was younger going into school, there was a time where I was steady getting in trouble. And I was actually in a Christian school. And child, I terrorized that school. When I sit back and I think about some of that stuff, and I wasn't really a bad kid. Like I came in good, I came in good.
Now we're talking 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7. And I'm getting called up to the school because of her behavior. This can't be my daughter. I didn't go to school like that for my sons. What would happen? My sons was normal kids. I was coming up to school for Precious when she was 5, 6, and 7 years old.
And I just think that I was just I just had a short patience span, I think, or whatnot. If I said something, or I didn't like for kids to do crazy stuff, as if I wasn't a kid doing crazy stuff myself. And so it would kick off fights, like me with the 5-year-olds and me with the 6-year-olds or whatnot. And so I don't necessarily know why I was acting out like that, but I do know that there was, I'm not sure if that was during the time frame. Was that during the time frame when you were sick as well, or was that a little bit before then?
I think I was probably going through menopause, the beginning stages of menopause.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know what the heck was happening to me.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, child. That's a whole nother story. So I was probably being neglected with attention from her. at home. And so of course the ideal thing would be to act out at school, because she would have to come up to the school. But come on now, this woman menopausing. Like why would I do that? And so but I think that I just want to leave you all right here with that. I got to leave you all wanting something for next week, Wednesday.
And there's more to come.
And I mean, so we're going to talk about the reason why I was steady getting suspended out of school at the 5th, 6th, and 5, 6, 7-year-old, 7 years of age. And the fact that she was going through menopause at that time frame. So how we kept clashing. And there was even a time frame where I was tossed on to my auntie to raise me. Talk about mother and daughter issues and how our relationship really separated and how we had to come back apart to each other. So we're going to leave you all here. You just got the introduction to mothers and daughters, and we're definitely going to give you all some more updates, and you will see us next week, Wednesday. I will announce the time. But if you want to follow and send any information, like your emails, anything, you can also do that at purityisprecious.com. And I just want to thank you all for watching. We will pick up right where we left off next week on next Wednesday. It's going to get good. We will definitely share some things with you all, and it's going to have some tears. We may laugh, we may cry. And I mean, some of y'all just may cry laughing at our stories, but I'm excited that you decided to embark on this journey with us. And feel free to share, to hit the share button. We would love to help other mothers and daughters go through and walk through some of the things that we've experienced and walked through. I love you all. This is my mom, Miss Doris, and I will see you all next week, Wednesday.
See you soon.